What's up you guys, boy Perverse Senpai here, and today I'm gonna be doing a movie review, but not just any movie, Teasing Master Takagi-san the movie. But before I start talking about the movie itself, I'm just gonna let you guys know that I'm gonna be splitting a non-spoiler and a spoiler, and I'll be making sure that I put the timeline on the video itself. But if it doesn't appear yet, then I'm gonna put the time somewhere around here. With that said, I'm gonna be also adding certain video clips of season 1, season 2, and season 3 when I talk about certain anime characters of this anime, so then you guys don't have to see my ugly face. And if you guys also enjoyed my review or the way I talk about this anime, why not drop a like? It helps me push this type of content mine up to other people that may like the same stuff or the same things that we're talking about. And if you actually guys do appreciate the content that I'm releasing and you guys want to stick around, the best way is to hit the subscribe button. And if you guys want to get the latest content from my channel, why not hit the notification bell? But that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Let's hop on to today's review. So I'm sure some of you guys do remember that it's been a while since the last time they aired season 3 of Teasing Master Takagi-san. With that said, they do a really good job reintroducing the characters that we last remembered seeing, showing the the teasing and all the comedy and a bit of that romance that we remembered from the last episode, reminding us that Takagi-san is always one step ahead of Nishikata. And this is just a friendly reminder that this is a non-spoiler, so it's going to be very hard to talk about certain subjects of this movie, but I'll get to the narrow point of what I really appreciated from this movie. When I was watching this movie, it felt like just one very long episode. Instead of seeing titles on the screen every second or minute of the movie, we just see a good flow of animation throughout the whole movie. And let me say, whenever I see an anime movie, I do always expect a good quality. And to me, they did such a good job with the quality of the anime. Seeing the characters very close up and also showing the landscape of the island is just very awesome to see. And also, if you guys are aware, they do show a good amount of characters, but they don't really shine a light on a lot of the extra support, and only to the 3 main girls, Takagi-san and Nishikata, most of the time of this movie. Which, if you guys see the time of how long this movie is, you may understand why. This movie does come right after season 3, and so in the movie it does place us in the present of when the students are graduating their 2nd year of being middle schoolers. With that said, that does mean that this summer that is coming up is their last time as middle schoolers, because the next time they're going to be 3rd years of middle schoolers, and right after that it's gonna be the start of their high school right after that summer. And don't worry, I was a bit confused at first, but then I kind of understood it afterwards. And this also represents a situation where maybe in high school we may not get to see all these characters be together or have the same relationship as they used to before. So that only means that this is definitely their last time as middle schoolers to enjoy themselves. With that said, we get to see Nishikata and Takagi-san tackle this thing so-called love and spending each other's time till the very last minute. We also get to see a lot of Mina, Sane, and Yukari, as in their situation it's more of a tackle of their friendship. And well, for the other group, we don't really see that much in the screen time, but we do see them in the background or there to show some resemblance of the progression of this story. So in the very beginning, Nishikata and Takagi-san, they do have a lot more teasing moments, but as it progresses on in the movie, in the middle and at the very end, we get to see them in a more serious tone and also an enlightenment mode as well. We get to see Nishikata and Takagi-san really take responsibility in certain situations, and also seeing Nishikata really pushing himself to the limit of really being responsible and also caring. With Takagi, she really does try her best to push this type of relationship when Nishikata doesn't, but also we get to see more vulnerable in certain moments. So to me, it does seem like Nishikata and Takagi-san really pull each other together more closer than ever before in this movie than when I would see it in previous seasons. Also, a little quick thing, that cat cat, goddamn, whoever voiced that cat, someone needs to give that person a 10 out of 10 reward, because when they voice act that cat, they did absolutely stunning voice acting for that. And as we get to see our three beautiful trio girls, Sane, Yukari, and Mina, we get to see them have a very eventful summer, having a lot of wild adventures. Honestly, seeing them always having fun together and like always cherishing those memories was very awesome to see. With that said, there is some conflict in the movie, and without that conflict, I feel like it would have been just a lot more cheerful. And I do appreciate that like there was more like seriousness in this movie, making them understand that like as their lives progress in the future, a lot of things can change for the better or for the worse. And let's not forget that the music in this anime was also stunning and very awesome to hear for those certain moments in the movie. And the person that sung was no other than Yukino Urara. Hopefully I said that right. And let's not forget that we also get some splendid music from Rei Takahashi. And I can argue that if it wasn't for the music that played in those certain moments, I wouldn't have cried as much, honestly. And also another thing I really enjoyed is seeing the world expanding even more in this anime world. The one thing I do have to say that's negative is how long this movie was. Like really, it was like an hour and 13 minutes, I believe that's what it says. It pretty much felt like a 30-minute episode. Like that's how short it was to me. Like goddamn, it was so amazing that as soon as it got to the end credits, I was like, wait, what? That was it? My god. The pacing of this movie was very well done as the time that I had for this movie. I had a beginning, a middle, and an end that, you know, to me was very splendid. For a slice of life / romance movie, I give it a 8.5 out of 10, or even though as short as the movie was. That said, if you guys got any comments or concerns about what I talked about in today's review of this movie, comment down in the comment section. You know, I would like to hear your guys' opinion if you guys actually did watch it or you guys haven't watched it and you know are quite curious on what could happen. And if you enjoyed my review, why not hit the like button? It helps me push this type of content to other people that may like to, you know, see other people's reviews of this movie. With that said, this does conclude the non-spoiler, and hopefully this does clear up or gives you an advantage of wanting to go watch this in the movie theater if it's still available. And hopefully I did a good job of being a non-spoiler. I really tried my best. With that said, let's hop on to the spoiler part of this video. Hey, you must have seen the movie already, right? Because if you haven't, this is the spoiler part. So I'm just letting you know, this is just straight up spoiler. I'm gonna talk about the setting, the characters, the emotions I went through, and also the end credit, which is a huge part that you have to see. That said, let's hop on to the spoiler. At the very beginning of the movie, it does resume the story after season 3 of Nishikata and Takagi-san. As we get to see Takagi-san, you know, mess around with Nishikata as always, and that is just something of as a reminder on what this theme of this anime is about. As though as much as we enjoy seeing these characters, the only realistic is that they're still growing up and suddenly their middle school days is soon to be over and soon will start their high school days. So that does raise the question on these relationships that these students have with each other and to see if it will still continue right in the beginning of high school. But before anything of that happens, we do see them have their last summer as middle schoolers, because the next summer is most likely going to be different because they'll be entering high school. And mainly this movie does focus more on Nishikata and Takagi-san and the three trio girls, Sanae, Yukari, and Mina. But for now, let's focus on Nishikata and Takagi-san. We see that Nishikata is still having a hard time to confess to Takagi-san. And as much as Nishikata hates to be teased by Takagi-san, he still feels comfort and happiness whenever he's around her. We actually get to see Nishikata really taking the initiative in this plot. In this movie, we get to see Nishikata and Takagi-san really spend a lot of time together. But of course, there has to be a reason to do that. At the very beginning of the movie, we get to see Nishikata inviting Takagi-san for a cultural event. And originally, it was going to be Hamaguchi that was supposed to be handling that event for that day. But he heard that Hojo was going to be going on vacation with her family to Canada. So Hamaguchi was in a pickle, but instead Nishikata was able to help him out by taking that job from him. And with that said, we get to see Takagi talking to Mano about a certain legendary that happens during the summer vacation. And I believe the saying goes is that if you see a firefly with the person next to you on the first day, I believe, of summer, then your destiny will, become true. So when Nishikata initiated the plan on inviting Takagi had her own plans as well. And so the day came along and Nishikata and Takagi went along to go to that event and for Nishikata to do his job. And while Nishikata was doing his job, there was a certain family that was having problems with their kid, and Nishikata, he really stood up in that moment and he acted like a dad. Like, for real, like a dad. And Takagi was seeing that happening from the background of Nishikata. For our girl Takagi, she really sees the very good inside of Nishikata at all times. And in that moment, I feel like that's a huge reference later in the future of the manga for the people that have continued reading the spin-off of the manga. And later on, we get to see Takagi, saying to Nishikata that they gotta find a reason to hang out. And of course, she finds all sorts of ways to tease him or make him think that she's gonna say dating. But then we hear this meow sound, this little kitty noise. Then I just remember that there's a cat in this movie. And let me tell you guys, that cat is so adorable, like so adorable. And seeing that animation of that cat was like, God, it was amazing. Like, I'm so happy this became like a movie, because I feel like if it wasn't made into that movie quality, I feel like the cat would have been looking something else. And seeing Nishikata and Takagi-san taking care of that animal and having a purpose to see each other was so amazing. Like, literally, if I was seeing myself, I could definitely tell that I was smiling a lot. With that said, Takagi and Nishikata doesn't try to like adopt it automatically, because they have their own problems in their house by not being able to have animals. And so they try to find the mother of it, but at the end they couldn't find it, so they decided to do a job of getting someone else to adopt it. So that is their main objective, by not just taking care of it, but also trying to find an owner that could adopt the kitty. For that, it does open some more things, some more of this world of this anime. We get to see more other places that Takagi-san and Nishikata visit, as such the pet store. And the pet owner, she's pretty amazing. The parrot, well, he does talk a lot. But it just adds in more of the comedy in my way of thinking. And seeing Nishikata and Takagi-san taking care of that kitty and having fun with it, like, it just resembles like Takagi and Nishikata having a kid, like taking care of a kid in any situation. And I also like the way when they were challenging each other of naming a cat. And Hana means flower, and gotta say that's a really good name. And also, it doesn't just show like the good times, it also shows the bad times, like when it started raining really hard and Nishikata was starting to worry about the cat, so he goes running off, and then he happens to stumble upon with Takagi-san also doing the same thing. And then seeing Nishikata seeing that pink ball and then rushing up the stairs, oh my god, it sent me chills down my spine. And also Takagi-san also sprinting as soon as she saw the cat that was on the top of the stairs. And let me tell you, almost cried during that scene. But as good as the journey is, everything comes to an end. And that one day did come for Nishikata and Takagi-san for taking care of that kitty. As soon as they went up to the shrine, they couldn't find the cat. And seeing Nishikata and Takagi-san looking for Hana, it was very sad to see, because every scene or transition to each character, we start to see him getting more worried and more tense on the situation on hand. But at the very end, we get to see Hana being found by two children that happen to have lost their other cat recently. And as much as I understand Nishikata's feelings for going and trying to get the kitty away from those two kids, their whole purpose was for the kitty to find a good home. And see Takagi-san holding or grabbing Nishikata by the arm, it made me really sad. Just like remembering right now, it's like I'm almost gonna cry. Because Takagi-san, she knows that their purpose for their whole reason to be together during that summer vacation was just trying to find an owner for that cat. Even after Takagi-san was actually getting a yes from her parents to accept the cat, it was just too good to be true in the end. And it did make me shed a tear at that moment. But the aftermath, man, it was a lot worse than I thought. Seeing Nishikata and Takagi-san going throughout the town after posting those posters of like, you know, lost kitten or like trying to get this kitten adopted. Now they have to take that down. And as Nishikata and Takagi-san were walking, and while Takagi-san was also having the bracelet that she was given by the pet owner for Takagi-san for taking the kitty to her home, as soon as it made that bell sound, seeing Takagi-san like stop in her tracks just from that sound, it was so sad to see. And then as soon as Takagi-san started to cry, because, you know, who wouldn't? I started crying a lot more. Like, oh man, dude, I shed a lot of tears. Of course, I wasn't like screaming in the movie theater. I was, you know, staying quiet, but also, you know, crying. But Nishikata, I mean, he was sad too, but he was able to pull them together. And he does it in a way that really pushes their progression even more. And by Nishikata saying that he'll make sure that she's happy and that he will be there to make her happy forever. And that's a promise. And that's, as soon as he said those words, I stopped crying. Now with that said, it doesn't really heal all that much. The movie does a great job showing the aftermath of that. Like, even if like there's some good things that happen to the end, they're not completely healed after losing the kitty. By showing a resemblance of like them hearing a cat bell and then seeing a different cat, and also seeing the panner seeing Takagi-san and Nishikata having fun at the festival, and the pet owner seeing that they're doing okay. But we do also get to see Nishikata and Takagi-san at the festival once more, and this time having a lot of good references from the previous seasons of when Nishikata and Takagi-san went to the festival together for the first time. As the guy that was selling apple candy to the kids before, he then sees them being together again for this next festival. And our two side characters that we didn't get to see a lot but made a good progression of the story at the end. Takayo and Kimura, throughout the whole movie, they were pretty much the side gig of like people taking those moment camera shots and making memories with other people. They were able to lend a hand for Nishikata and Takagi-san, for showing them like a secret path that they could both go and, you know, have a good time over there by seeing the fireworks all by themselves. Now that is a very supporting role. And in that moment, Takagi-san does appreciate that Nishikata is giving his best effort for making Takagi-san happy. And so that convinces Takagi-san that she wants to make another promise to Nishikata, that she wants to make him happy forever. And that's a promise. Now let's talk about the three trios. Seeing Mina, Sane, and Yukari always chief or always like, you know, hanging around together. It almost makes me forget that as soon as they go to high school, things could change for better or worse. And in this situation, Sae does tell Yukari that she plans on going to a different high school because Sae wants to become a professional track and field person, so she wants to actually take it serious. And for Mina, man, sweet little adorable girl, just to see her reaction about that, she really tries her best to accept what Sae wants to do in the future with trying to stay connected with their friendship. But to Mina, the friendship, it really means to her that they get to stick together more than when they're separated. With that said, Mina wants to make a plan that they make a summer vacation memory that they'll never forget. And so she comes up with 100 things to do during summer vacation. And I could definitely see that as a Mina thing to do. Throughout the duration of the movie, we get to see Sane, Yukari, and Mina having a blast going through all the things that they listed for 100 things to do throughout the whole summer vacation. But as soon as they get closer to the top 100 things to do, Mina kind of just doesn't want to end it there. She wants to continue forever and ever. And in a sense, I do see where she's coming from, because if you're really good friends with someone, even though things change, I'm pretty sure you'll still have that bond no matter what and would still want to hang out even in the future. But in this situation, they're still like middle schoolers, and you know, things can happen that will definitely change. Like what happens if Sane actually ends up making friends in that track and field of that high school? Like definitely something that she cannot hang out with the other two anymore then. And even if Sane doesn't like make any friends in the new high school track and field, if she does plan on taking it serious, it will take time off of her. And there's a certain scene that shows a bit of symbolism. You know, Sane, if she ever does move away, we get to see a ship passing by the three of them, and we get to see people saying bye to them. And it kind of shows a symbolism of like the day that comes for Sae to, like, when she moves away, Yukari and Mina would be the ones that be saying goodbye to her to that ship. And even though Yukari is the one that embraces it more, having more of a mature understanding, Mina is pretty much the one that has the most hardest time understanding Sai's dream. But later in the movie, we actually discovered that Sai was not the one that wanted to go to a different high school, but instead it was a suggestion from the teacher. With that said, Sai does want to focus or want to take track and field more serious, but it was never her choice of choosing a different high school, but it was just a suggestion. And so in the end, Mina was actually able to find some happiness into that, and that they'll be able to cherish their friendship even longer and able to do millions of things in the summer. And also the animation for this movie was pretty well done. I gotta say, the animation, it has to be good quality because, you know, it's a movie, and you know, a lot of people expect an anime movie to be high quality nowadays. And for a slice of life romance, they do a good job. They actually did a very good job, because when you see Jujutsu Kaisen 0, I mean, straight up, that's a whole different animation right there, and it's pretty much a lot of action, a lot of fighting. Compared to a slice of life, there's going to be a huge difference on productivity, but still this animation still stood very high. And let me tell you, the music does a fantastic job throughout the movie. It does a splendid job, and it is sung by the same singer from like the other past 3 seasons, and I'm definitely going to be using their music while I'm talking over about this review. All in all, this anime was very splendid. The only negative thing that I gotta say is that it felt like 30 minutes instead of an hour and 13 minutes, that's for sure. I guess it was just like so good that the time passed so fast, but I guess I'm just so used to watching movies that's like 2 hours or more. So when it came to an hour and 13 minutes, when I started watching the movie, I totally forgot about that, so it went by really fast. But within that time of that movie, they did a really good job making a good pacing of the story. Like, they did really focus on the very important moments, or that was very critical on the progression or the development of these characters. And now for the end credits. This is a spoiler, so if the people that haven't read the manga of the spin-off, I highly recommend to click off. If you do, give this video a like if you guys really had a good time watching this video of mine. If not, a dislike. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed my review for this movie. With that said, let's hop on to the end credits. So for the people that stuck around for the end credits and actually do understand what happened during that time, we actually get to see Nishikata and Takagi-san all grown up with their kid, like animated. Like, I don't know about you, but that's like a huge thing, because then that gives sense that they could definitely do a season of them as grown-ups. Like, the chance of that being happening or coming true just like grew even higher. Like, most likely we'll be getting a 4th season of Takagi-san and Nishikata, as they're still like middle schoolers. But now, once that finishes, we could definitely see an upcoming animation of them all grown up. And seeing the kid, like their child being animated, is just like insane. And seeing them going back to that field with that fire stick, and seeing the, you know, references of when they were kids back then to what it is now, and seeing the fireflies and Nishikata making that story for that kid, but then the kid wasn't that scared in the future. It's just so good to be true. It's just too good, man. And let me tell you, the audience, like, well, for the people that was there watching the movie with me, they were very shocked when they saw the end credit. I mean, I was expecting an end credit of them premiering season 4, but I was not expecting this type of end credit. Now for the score of this movie, I gotta give a 8.5 out of 10. Like, in all honesty, 8.5 out of 10 is still good, like really good for me. I do have to be serious about reviewing this anime movie, because I know there's gonna be a lot of people that is not gonna watch this movie in the movie theater, or may not even know that there's a movie coming out for this anime. So if I give like a realistic review and a realistic rating, hopefully this gives other people to watch this movie whenever it comes out in your country on a website, or maybe you're watching a movie theater. 8.5 is my honest opinion for rating this movie, because there's been other romance movies that I've seen that does like crazy amount of good in them, and they're most likely like original anime movies that doesn't have like a anime seasons before it. But let me know what you guys think. How would you rate this movie if you guys already seen it? Well, most likely you already have if you already clicked on the spoiler. And let me know your guys' opinions on what you think of the movie was. Like, did you cry? I cried. Like I said, if a movie like makes you cry in those right moments, then they did a really good job with that. But yeah, comment down in the comment section, let me know about your guys' opinions. If you actually got like something interesting to say and with full sentences, then I would actually, you know, reply to you guys. And if you guys do happen to enjoy today's video, why not drop a like button? And if you guys don't happen to enjoy it at all, why not hit the dislike button? Then I could get a better understanding of what you guys want to see some more in this channel of mine. But that's pretty much all I gotta talk about. It's been your boy Perez Senpai, and I'll see you guys in the next wait, this is a movie. I'll see you guys in the future.